My name is Father Paul Anthony. I came from the Philippines. I'm now a parish priest here at South Tamworth in the Diocese of Armidale in New South Wales. I originally came from the Diocese of Imus in the Philippines. I finished my theology in the Philippines, philosophy and theology, finished in the Philippines. And then I arrived here in 2007, towards the end of 2007. And then early 2008, went to Good Shepherd Seminary in Homebush. Did 1 year in Catholic Institute of Sydney. And then May 2009, I was ordained in the Philippines by Bishop Luke Mathis. And at that ordination, the bishop who sent me to Australia, who is now Cardinal Tagle, who's based now in the Vatican, he was present at our ordination. He sent us here in 2007, and he preached, at our ordination. So my previous diocese, Cardinal Tagle, at that time he was Bishop of Imus, said to us that there was a request from Australia, from Armidale, and then he's sending 2 of his seminarians. And that he's sending us to be incardinated to the Diocese of Armidale. Australia is my first overseas trip. And so I don't really have much knowledge of Australia. And some people would say, oh, you're going to a country, started by convicts. And I was like, oh, convicts, bad people, criminals. So you have that mentality. And then my first when I first arrived in Australia, I went to Armidale, which is on the city on the mountain, very cold. So the suddenly change of weather, and then after a week we went to live in small parishes. I stayed in the parish of Wiwo, which is a cotton country. It's like a little community in the middle of nowhere. And there we experienced the life, country life, where people are very warm, very, they say good day, greet you on the street, even if you don't know them. Living in a small community where everybody knows each other. And that really gives me a good experience of a taste of what will I be expecting should I pursue to the priesthood in this diocese. One of the most common experience I have is that on my first few months in the parish, if they're first time to encounter a Filipino, they're not used on my accent. But eventually, people are very understanding. They appreciate the value of having priests from overseas and the need to get priests from overseas. And so Australians, even the old, the senior members in the parish, they train their ears in the Filipino accent. And that, now in my parish, I'm 8 years now here. And so I would say that a lot of them can understand me clearly. In the Philippines, from where I came from, basically the family who spend for our education, or part of that is financed by the parish, the community, or some generous benefactor. So most of my training were financed by my family and some of generous benefactors. And then leaving those people who helped me through the journey, throughout my studies, and then coming here, somehow some of them think that, you know, they're not able to see me serve in the home in my previous diocese. But at the same time, it's a joy for them that, coming from a developing country, we're able to contribute something, as a church to Australia, which is a wealthy and a first world country. Another challenges would be isolation and loneliness. The good thing is that there were already Filipino priests in this diocese when I came, and they were very supportive. Bishop Luke Mathis, the bishop who invited us to come here, also came from overseas. He's Belgian who grew up in South Africa. And so he also knows the experience of working and coming to a different country. And he was really very supportive of us. Straight after ordination, I was posted to the town of Mori. Mori is on the northwest side of the Diocese of Armidale. It's in Mori Plains. Main livelihood there would be farming. There's a big number of Aboriginal community there. The whole land area of the parish would be like 90 times of my previous diocese. That's how big it was. And then we have to travel long distances to visit communities, to celebrate Mass, to celebrate the sacraments. And it was a good experience for me, as a young priest, to be able to see different communities, and also to have an exposure with the Aboriginal people. Filipino spirituality or Filipino expression of Catholicism is very festive. We love flowers in the church. We love high masses, incense. We love festivals. We love singing, and especially here in Tamworth, I brought all those with me. Number one is that it's important for priests, regardless where you came from, to have a healthy relationship with your brother priests. While you may have so many friends, lay friends, only priests can understand another priest. And so, like a common challenge for us would be loneliness and isolation. You can easily combat that if you have good relationship with your brother priests. Before COVID, especially before COVID, once a month we travel even more than 200 kilometers one way just to have lunch with other priests. And that for us is very important, even though, we only gather for 2 or, at most 3 hours. Regardless of the distance, that's important for us to find support from one another. Tamworth is a big community. We have, I think, more than 80 nationalities here. We have a lot of overseas workers, and not everyone are able to speak in English, not able to communicate in English. And there are English classes available, but during the week. But that's also when workers are working. And so I said, perhaps we need to address this by having an English lesson on a Sunday. And we have volunteers, and they're happy to do that. So until now, we're still running a English lesson. And then we also have problems here of homelessness, isolation, loneliness, and then also with increasing prices of cost of living and also rent. Sometimes even Centrelink payments are not enough. So we saw the need of opening a soup kitchen. And for 2 years, I've been talking about that. And then we had people who stepped in and say, we would like to start the soup kitchen. And we've been doing soup kitchen since September last year. And every Wednesday, lunchtime, we serve an average of 100 meals. And since September last year, we have served more than 3,000 meals. And yeah, and it's all because of the support of the community, of the parish community, which I'm really, really grateful. Aside from being parish priest here and the director for migrants and refugees, I'm also the president of the Filipino community. And in Tamworth, we are the first organized, community, multicultural community. And one of the issues that we faced before is that some locals think that we came to Australia to steal the jobs from them. And there's always a tension between overseas workers, regardless from which country, and then the local workers, which is very understandable. But instead of just fighting it, we formed the Filipino Association of Tamworth, and then encourage everyone to be an active member of the community. We join, like Tamworth is known for country music festival. We join the parade. We are active in the community. We join the multicultural festivals here in town, in the city. We join Clean Up Australia. And we show our appreciation to Australia by giving back to the community. If you're involved in the community, if you're involved in your parishioners, the life of your parishioners, you will, by living with them, you will discover Jesus. And the people that I have met here, the Aboriginal people, the locals, people from different faith background, and then ethnic and cultural background, helped me to be aware of the presence of Jesus in them. And that helped me a lot. It's important that we bring our cultural and expression of faith, but it's also important that we discover that here and see how our different expression of faith can dialogue and use that in evangelizing one another. In my experience, I would say that Australians are very generous. Not only in material things, but generous in their time, in their talent. It's different, the way in the Philippines where I came from. But if you live with them and discover, you will, I experienced their own way of generosity. And I think it's the challenge for us priests is also to be generous to them.